What's going on, everybody? We've got Angelo Leo versus Mike Plania going down tonight down in Florida on the ProBox card. You can watch it on the ProBox website or app. They also got a free stream on YouTube. So, but if you want to sign up and support them, it's like a few bucks a month. It starts in about 6 hours. So, yeah, let's get to it. Lines close here in a couple hours, so I won't waste any time. So they got lines for 3 fights, okay? Angelo Leo versus Magic Mike. You got Romero Duno versus Antonio Moran. And Christopher Pearson versus Trevor McCumby. First one we're going to go over is Pearson and McCumby. So, alright, look. Pearson, he was like plus 210, plus 225 underdog. And I kind of liked him at first. But, I mean, then I started looking into it, and I mean, there was one major red flag. We'll go over that here in a second, but I mean, his draw with Terry Webster in Atlantic City, not great. Before that, I mean, it was like, what, 2 years? Before that, he fought Carlos Gongora, and man, if you guys watch that fight, I mean, he was just like up against the ropes, shelling up. I mean, yeah, shit was just not going good for him in that fight, but he also showed a lot of quit. And I mean, before that, he was doing okay. I mean, Yamaguchi Falcao, I mean, you know, that was a pretty good win relative to McCumby's resume. Falcao just got KO'd badly by David Morrell. But yeah, McCumby, 27-0, 21 KOs. So he had 2 fights last year. Before that, he had a 4-year layoff, and I heard there was maybe some substance abuse ban that started that layoff. But in any case, I listened to an interview. He was talking about how he was kind of burnt out with boxing, and then he had, well, obviously there was COVID that happened, so that kind of delayed him. And then he also had some, like, alcoholism issues. But, you know, he says he has found God. He's in a much better place now. The other thing to note here is he's moving down from light heavyweight, and he's moved down a few pounds to super middleweight. And then Pearson is actually moving up to super middleweight for this fight. So, or I guess his last couple of fights, but still, he started off at a much lower weight class. Now, here's where the major red flag is for me. If we look at the weigh-in photos, we got a guy who looks like in shape, seriously ripped. I mean, dude's got a big-ass fist, too. And I mean, that's a little bit of camera magic, but whatever. And then we got Pearson. I mean, here on the right, and yeah, man, I mean, look, dude, I mean, this is when I saw this, I was just like, okay, I'm cashing out my Pearson bet, because I can't ever bet it on a dude that's showing up in pajamas, glasses on, looks like he's out of shape. I mean, he looks like flabby, and I mean, like, you don't have to look ripped, right? But I mean, that's a major red flag for me for Pearson. And McCumby at least looks like he's in shape. He's taking things serious. And if we look at his Instagram, I mean, he's training. It looks like he's taking his comeback very serious. And I mean, rightfully so. I mean, he was out for a few years and probably realized that, you know, if he doesn't act now, this opportunity is going to pass him. So, other thing with McCumby, I mean, wasn't too impressed from tape, and I couldn't find his last 2 fights, but I mean, it does look like he packs a punch. So I think there was one other look here. Let's look at this one. So yeah, I mean, I got McCumby here. I think he stops Pearson. You know, I mean, the level of competition, I would give that Pearson's got the upper hand there, but I mean, McCumby's got a decent, you know, resume. I mean, he's been boxing since he was a kid. You know, a bunch of, like, you know, national titles and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I think the wise move here, betting wise, would be the under 7.5. If you're gonna take McCumby. I don't know what his KO prop is. I don't have access to it, but like the no distance was like minus 275. So I would just take the under, or just stay away from this fight because there's a lot of unknowns. So moving on to the next fight, Romero Duno versus Antonio Moran. Yeah, man, Duno I'm not impressed with at all. His strategy is pretty much come in high guard and just kind of like just walk forward. I mean, he doesn't really have much head movement. And then, I mean, if you look at his resume, let's go back to Ryan Garcia fight. So, oh yeah, here's the other thing. This is the battle of the guys that got knocked out by Ryan Garcia, and then the guy that got knocked out by Devin Haney. That was Haney's last KO. So yeah, let's start off there. So, I mean, leading up to this, yeah, he's got some wins, he's got some knockouts. After the Ryan Garcia knockout, yeah, he's got some knockouts, but every time he takes a step up, he's been stopped. And then he goes back to fighting these like low level boxers. I mean, with losing records, and even his last fight was it was a decision to a guy that was 8-28. And this was back in October 2022, so it's been more than a year since he's been out of the ring. I think he's just taking too much damage, you know, and I just don't see this fight looking good for him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he got KO'd by Haney, which is not a good look, but Haney was just levels ahead of this dude. I mean, like speed-wise, there was nothing that Moran could do. I know that Moran had, I think when he was with Dutch over, it was like his second or third fight with his new coach, and he's been with that new coach since then. This Jermaine Ortiz fight was a good fight to watch. Moran was probably a big underdog that fight. And the scorecards are wider than what they should be. I think this is kind of a fair scorecard. 97, 93, 92, 98, 91, 99. That's pretty disrespectful. But he was B-side on that top ranked card. So, I mean, take that into consideration. That was a good fight to watch. You can find it on YouTube versus Jermaine Ortiz. In that fight, he did buzz Ortiz a few times. And, yeah, I mean... yeah, I think it was a good fight. Anyways, Moran, doesn't have like one punch KO power, you know. He's got a good KO percentage, but it's more or less he's got thudding shots, and yeah, they'll just accumulate over time. And I really don't think it will take much for Duno for that to start adding up on Duno. The only thing is Moran can sometimes kind of match the output or the pace of his opponent. So if Duno's kind of taking things slow, Moran can also take things slow. He doesn't really step on the gas until you step on the gas. But if we look at the face-offs for that one, this is another thing. He's got significant height and reach advantage over Duno, and so yeah, I mean, what I saw from tape, I just don't see that faring well for Duno at all. So yeah, I got Moran here. I got him by stoppage. No distance was like plus 160, so that's what I took. And let's go on to the main event here. So we got Magic Mike Plania versus Angelo Leo. And so this is a featherweight fight. Man, I mean, it's kind of a similar story with Magic Mike. He likes to lunge in and overreach often, which leaves himself open for counters. He leaves himself open there too because once he lunges in, he's just kind of in that position for a second before he brings his back foot forward, or he doesn't just lunge in or reach, do a stab jab and get back out. He's kind of standing there for a second or leaves himself square. So. And similar story. I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, he's still getting, 1-round KOs over in the Philippines. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's good that he's active, but yeah, I mean, when he's taking steps up, he's losing those fights as well. So now, as far as the experience edge and the level of competition edge, I give that to Leo. He's not a big, he doesn't have a bunch of power either, but I think he can stop Plania just kind of, I think he's going to be open to the body. I think Leo's going to be going to the body. I think Plania is going to be lunging in too much. Leo is by far the better inside fighter. And he's got really good volume too. The only thing about Leo is that sometimes I feel like he can kind of play down to his competition. So he can kind of get sucked into those 50-50 exchanges where he'll be losing those 50-50 exchanges or just barely edging them out, instead of just kind of sticking to what was working and just stepping on the gas, and getting his opponents out of there. So I think that Leo can probably stop him, and I actually took that, and it was I think it was plus 115 for no distance. Leo now, the line has ran on that. He's a massive favorite. He's like, I mean, not massive. He's a decent sized favorite, not massive for boxing at least, minus 750 or so. But yeah, so I think he gets him out of there. You know, he's talking about how he wants to maybe go up and face Inoue, and I don't know. I think that this fight for him is, I think after losing to Fulton, I think he realizes, okay, he's got to, and now he's on a pro box card, he's got to figure out, okay, I've got to make a statement here, otherwise, you know, this is kind of the test where, am I going to be a journeyman, or am I going to go on and get a push with one of these promotions? So yeah, just to recap, I got Leo. I think he stops Plania, and then Moran. Actually, let's go. What's the over-under on this one? Give me 1 second. Over-under is 8.5. I think it can go under. I think it can go under 8.5 rounds, because that's halfway through the 9th round. Man, I mean, I think that's lined about right, but there's definitely value on the under 8.5 plus 250. So I think there's value there. And then Antonio Moran. I think he gets the stoppage, and I think that was like plus 160 last I looked. But yeah, under 8.5. I think that goes under too. I think it goes under. I mean, yeah, both this fight and the main event could both definitely go the distance. I mean, these all could, but you know, pro box, you never know. But I think this goes under. Under's plus 125, but parlaying Moran and Leo is a good bet too. I mean, that was like minus 200. So I mean, whatever, it's free money in my opinion. And then McCumby versus Pearson. I think McCumby gets him out of there. I feel like that goes under too. And I mean, it's weird to be on unders on a whole card, but man, Pearson just did. You guys want to see that one more time? I mean, he just did not look good, man. Let's look at this one more time. Yeah, I mean, that's just not somebody that I can get behind. I've seen a lot of setups in my day, and this one sure smells like one. So, all right, guys. Well, best of luck with all your bets and everything. Enjoy the fights. You can watch it on YouTube. I'll leave a link to the stream below. And then Boxing Gems is also going to have a live stream commentary stream, so I'll leave that up. But yeah, enjoy the fights. This is for all you boxing heads. So, peace.